Hello and welcome to episode 117 of the Book Wars Pod. I'm Chris. That was like weirdly cheery. I'm not
of the
particularly...
Book Wars Pod.
We're so happy you're here. Yeah, I just woke up from a nap and now I'm eating ice cream straight from the carton. So
You love to see
honestly, that kind of is my best life. So maybe
that
that's
is
why
your
I'm cheery.
best life. That's awesome. I was gonna say that sounds great. All of those things are great. I'm gonna force us to do a segment that I started last week called "Name One Exciting Thing That You Did or Happened to You This Week."
I had Friday off work and I spent a solid 8 hours straight playing Assassin's Creed.
Oh fuck yeah!
Like I literally was like, I'm not really tired, but I should go to bed because if I don't, my PlayStation is probably gonna overheat.
That's fair. Quinn has been playing what I think is knockoff Assassin's Creed. It's just called Hitman. Is that a different game? Isn't Assassin's Creed just about an assassin and you go and assassinate people?
It's a different. Assassin's Creed is like historical.
Oh, never mind. This is a different thing.
Yeah.
Hitman is like real life, and then you go and you hitman people, but it's really funny because they're all set in like third world countries and stuff because you are killing warlords and whatever. And it's like this big... Oh, is that our smoke alarm? Sure is.
You love
Quinn
to
is
see
cooking. Quinn is making bagel. But he's like a 6'3" bald guy, and they're like, okay, put on this poncho. Now you look like everyone else. And I'm like, I think they would know. I think that's not maybe an effective disguise. It's just very funny.
Listen, a poncho and a fake mustache is the universal sign for I am not who I appear to be. Don't look at me.
It's so true. Cool. That's a great one. Miranda, do you have one?
Probably.
Come on, you knew this was coming.
I know, and I feel like I had like an actual answer a day or two ago, but I forgot what it was.
I'm gonna go, and you think.
Okay.
We put air in our bike tires and made them ready to ride. Quinn's is squeaky, which means we need WD-40, but mine was fine. I just went and took it on a little jaunt today. It was an extremely short jaunt because it was hot, and I have one gear on my bike.
Nice.
But it's great, and it's wonderful for running errands in the pandemic because then you don't have to get in your car, and you're doing an like if I have to go pick up beer or something, I will try to, and if I don't have the dog with me, I will do it on my bike because it is efficient and it is vaguely exercise. Cool. That was mine. Miranda, did you make something up while I was talking?
Sure. I got out of the house briefly yesterday. Kind of to do errands. I had to go pick up groceries, but I also went to the house that my parents just bought and got to go inside there and get super jealous of their really rad house.
That's amazing. That's a good
Yes.
one. Did you eat a bunch of shit over there?
No, not yet.
Not yet. You will.
I was going to, but then I was like, I gotta go to Freddy's, and I had to go to one in Vancouver.
Oh God.
It was the soonest pickup time, but
Yeah.
also they did have toilet paper,
Oh, there's our smoke alarm again.
so I'll take it.
Kristen, I'm really concerned for these bagels.
Oh,
There's
don't be.
there's no part of
It's
cooking
fine.
bagels that should need this much smoke.
I think it might not be from the bagels. I know he's like trying to recalibrate the oven right now, which would explain this. Well, cause like we got a hanging thermometer for our oven because he was like, nothing is turning out the way it's supposed to.
Sure.
Because our oven is old and shitty. And then he was like, I wonder what if I track the temperature in the oven, I wonder how it will be. And the answer is it's all over the place. You set
Sure.
it to 375, and it is not consistently. It is consistently not at 375 is really what the answer is.
But like, what is in the oven that's setting off the smoke alarm? There still
I don't
shouldn't be
know.
a smoke alarm.
I don't smell smoke, so I'm not, and I don't even smell anything burning, so I'm not worried about it. He is very good at the kitchen, so I'm fine with whatever. He also, like, maybe he's, like, cleaning something. I don't know. I have faith.
Very fair. Very fair.
And also, like, our smoke alarms are very, very sensitive. So, and we don't have a, what are those things called? A range hood. So, that is really what the issue is.
Oh yeah,
Because
that'll
if
do
he's
it.
making anything on the stovetop, I'm sure it's setting the smoke alarm off. He's just usually doing like 10 things in the kitchen, so I hope it's not the bagels. Smoked bagels.
I need to get that bagel recipe from him because I want to try it.
Oh hell yeah. We got everything bagel seasoning. That's the other exciting
Oh, that's
thing that
the
happened
key.
this week.
Yeah.
So, well, he'd just been making them like salt or sesame seed. Just because, like, I think that's a good way to get a feel for whether or not the bagels are good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just taste delicious because they're covered in everything bagel seasoning, which is the most delicious thing in the world. Great. Thank you for indulging me. I think it's fun to do a little tiny like gratitude session in the beginning of the thing. Is anybody drinking?
I
have
am.
a beer.
Yay. Chris is drinking ice cream, but what else are you drinking?
I'm the ice cream. I've completed my ice cream. I've finished my ice cream.
What kind of ice cream was it? Tell us that first.
It is Bluebell ice cream.
Ooh. Yep.
Which is very, very good, and it's the Southern Blackberry Cobbler flavor.
Ooh.
Ooh.
It's the
Child.
best. It's the
That-
best one.
Those are all delicious words.
Yeah, I would like to say that I just like started eating a lot of ice cream due to the pandemic, but I'm gonna be honest, I just eat ice cream and have just decided not to feel bad about it. So
That's correct. You and Quinn are similar in that. He's
Excellent.
also a big ice cream eater, especially when he's not drinking as much. He's like, okay, I'm going to have ice cream then. And I'm like,
Nice.
great. Oh, bless.
Nice. Also, like, it's great because for those who don't know, Kate is lactose intolerant, so like obviously she does not eat ice cream that I eat, so like you never have to worry about like opening the freezer and like your significant other ate the last of the ice cream, and it's like, well, there goes everything I wanted for the last 5 minutes.
That is really nice because sometimes that does happen.
It's true.
That's why you strategically pick out your ice cream flavors.
Oh, that too.
Not that I've
Yeah.
ever done that, but just
Not
to...
that she's ever done that. Living with Quinn. What are you
but anyway,
drinking?
I'm drinking bourbon. I'm drinking
Ooh.
Balcones, which I asked people from Texas, and apparently they say Balcones, even though it's not what it looks like to me.
Great.
It is their blue corn whiskey.
Well, and you're not a
good.
bourbon guy, or are you trying to become more into it?
I like this. I like some bourbons if they're just
Okay.
not too sweet. Like,
Got it.
so this is more. Hang on, let me take a sip before I talk about it. Yeah, so this is more of like a smoky,
Is it
kind
like
of like
tobacco-y a little bit?
a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of barrel smoke,
Yeah.
like a little bit of like almost mesquite going on.
Ooh.
Love it.
And it's not overly sweet. Like my thing with bourbon is like if it's vanilla-y, it gets like kind of cloying real quick.
Yeah. Fair.
Whereas this just kind of has like more of like a burnt caramel sweetness to it.
This podcast famously not brought to you by Maker's Mark.
It's funny because my like number one most hated bourbon, like I will not drink this bourbon if it is offered to me, is Buffalo Trace, which is like
Oh, that's really
everybody
funny.
loves Buffalo. Like
Well, because it's like super drinkable for the price point.
exactly,
If you
it's-
don't mind the sweetness.
exactly. But I just like literally I have like taken a sip and been like, I would not like to finish this glass. Like
No,
it is
thank you,
so
please.
sweet for me.
Did you put anything in what you're having now? Did you put drops of water?
Yeah, just a couple drops of water.
Cool. I always like to know because you you're always drinking your spirits close to neat, and it's always interesting to me what you've done to them to open them up. So cool. Burba, what beer are you drinking? Can I assume you're drinking a beer?
Yes,
Okay.
I am drinking a beer. I thought about having some bourbon,
Hey.
but then was like, I don't want my Sunday afternoon to be like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like those no one knows, because why would people know this? But we decided that like 3:00 ish Pacific, 4:00 ish Mountain Time on Sundays is our new recording time, because I decided I can't do anything after work during the pandemic. I was just like, it's not feasible for me to do this after work on a weekday. So these two kind, gentle people were wonderful, and we're like, great, we can do it in the middle of the day on a Sunday. It's like, cool. But anyway, it's working well for us. But 3:00 is a little bit early to be getting into the hard liquor, so I do appreciate your honesty there, because it would make your Sunday a different kind of Sunday.
Also, like, I had a staff meeting at work on Thursday, and for some reason, when my boss sent out the email, she's like, feel free to have an adult beverage or whatever. I was like, that's a really funny thing to call out. But then I remembered we already have beer and wine at our staff meetings when we're in the office.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I had some whiskey, and I did not have to talk on the call, so that was good.
Hey, blessings.
But no, I'm just drinking a beer now. Back at it again with the Heater Allen.
Yeah.
This time I'm drinking their Bohemian style Pilsner. It is a Pilsner.
You don't say.
It is Bohemian style.
Is that the one that's like green and yellow?
It's yellow. I think it's just yellow.
Oh, cool. I don't
Sorry.
remember. No,
It's-
just
It's
you
yellow,
had
and
you
it says Pils.
yeah, you had recommended something, and I don't think I don't remember. It was like the first beer you had in your new apartment.
That might have been the Occidental Hefeweizen.
Mm-mm. It was
Okay.
something that's a colorful can.
Well, that one
Um,
is yellow and green.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
No. I know what that can looks like. It's like I think it might be the Black 15 Italian style Pilsner.
Oh yeah, that was
Or
pretty
something.
good.
Anyway, I was like,
I
Quinn, we
I
need to
had
try
that for the
this. And he
first time,
goes,
like a week and a half ago.
oh, so it was not that one. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll take this offline. No one is interested in this but me. But anyway, whichever one it was, Quinn was like, I told him, oh, we should pick some of this up. It looks really good. And he goes, you've had that before. And it was during this, like, it was in the past few weeks. Like, you're okay. Yes, I am not okay.
I think it might have been the Bearlick.
I have to. I'll look later. It's in the fridge because I almost picked it this time, and I was like, "Oh, Burb had this first." I don't know. We'll talk about this offline. It's not important. Cool. I am drinking a beer that I have no idea whether or not Chris would like.
Interesting. Okay.
It's an IPA, but it's a sparkling IPA.
What? That's
it's a s-
okay.
It's a sparkling IPA. It is 6.6% alcohol by volume. It says, here's a beer that's as crisp as it is quenching, with aromas of sugar-covered strawberries, pineapple and mango, and notes of kiwi, white grape, honeydew, and guava. Frame Sparkling IPA refreshes with a new kind of delight.
That sounds good as fuck.
It's really good.
It sounds
It's a
very
little
good. How hoppy
sweet.
is it?
It's a little sweet. It's not very hoppy.
Okay, I'd probably like it. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's weird to me that it's sparkling.
Well, I mean, all beer.
I mean,
is
I know.
generally
That's what the bubbles
carbonated.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know, but like, you know what I mean. One doesn't
Yeah.
generally think of beer as sparkling.
Sure. And I don't know whether or not they've done anything different carbonation-wise with this. I would assume not, because it's just in a regular beer bottle. But the bubbles look small, but that doesn't mean that they're different than any other bubbles. I'm just remarking upon them because I poured it into a glass for once in my life. Well, anything that's like bigger than 16 ounces, I feel like I should pour into a glass, because otherwise I'm trying to drink too much out of a tiny beer bottle top.
Sure.
or something. I don't know. Don't ask me how my logic works.
Anytime I think of carbonated beer, I think of me and Kate were in Utah for a wedding a few years back, and so we get there. It's like the night before, and we like go out to dinner, and we go to dinner at this like brewery, and so we go I don't even, maybe in Provo, something like that. And
Sounds
we go
right.
and we sit down, and we're like looking at the menu, and so we show the guy our IDs, and he's like sees that we're not from in-state, and he's like, okay, so just so you know, you legally have to order food because we can't just serve alcohol.
Yay.
So Utah, that's the thing. But also, every single beer on the menu was 4.2 ABV.
Yup.
Amazing.
Every single one. And so like I got like
It's not
like-
allowed to be more than that.
Yeah, no, it's
with
legally
some
not allowed to be
different
more than that.
stuff. Yeah.
And so I got like, I mean, it was all light beer, but I got a light beer, and it like literally looked like cream soda in the glass, and it wasn't even bad. It was very tasty, but it looked like cream soda in the glass.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Spring seasonal. Sorry, now I'm just like looking. American ale yeast. Yeah, so it's still like ale yeast and stuff. History. Thank you for telling me about the IPA. That's not what I was asking about. It's like by the 1790s, the British were established in India. Stop. I know. That's not what I wanted to know about the history.
Fourscore and 7 years ago,
I wanted
Kristen.
to know. I wanted to know if there was some specific history for this particular sparkling IPA, not the history of IPAs. Okay, that's what I get for trying to look things up. Cool. Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Should we
Star
do
Wars.
it? We're wrapping up Tarkin.
We are wrapping up Tarkin by James Luceno, if you have forgotten. And it's interesting because like I feel like a lot of this one, like we have an outline, and we got questions from the same two of you that usually submit questions. So thank you for that. And I feel like we're getting to the point with this era that we're kind of just like we're all continuing to talk about the Empire in different stages, but like it's a positive and a negative because I feel like we've covered some of this ground before, which is some of the interesting thing about like storytelling in a shared universe and like what are the different aspects of it. But also,
And-
like, this is
and
just
why
such
Chris-
a well-covered area.
Why Chris is the supreme ruler of the Book Wars pod and generally speaking decides what books we cover when. Because most of us haven't read any of these before Chris puts them on the Book Wars pod list, even though Chris has read most of them as they came out. So it's really interesting. And, like, it's actually great because he's been a lot more thoughtful about it than, like, me would be. So it's like, I don't know. It's not like he's got some grand plan, but he's got like a list of stuff that we want to cover and like slots things in and out as new books come in and out and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I agree. Like I'm looking at like we basically listed, whoever made this point listed all of the different times and places in the canon that we've seen parts of the Empire around this time frame, and it's like, oh, like a lot, like exactly what Chris just said. So anyway, that's a shout out to Chris for once in the pod life.
Yeah, I was
Don't
saying
say
for
that
once in
too
a row.
loud.
Wow. It's a good thing Kate's napping right now. She would yell at you.
I know. She was considering joining us for this, and then she was like, fuck that, I'm gonna sleep this week, which like she's not wrong.
Yeah.
And also, why would you ever want to be on this podcast?
Yeah. Big mood. Big mood. So I believe this was Miranda's point.
I didn't write that. I think Kristen wrote that.
I didn't.
Oh,
Cool.
weird.
Someone wrote Catalyst Tarkin Solo Rebel Rising and
that
wrote
was not
the
me.
things.
I didn't even read Bread Waters.
Did I like put this together like weeks ago and somebody like copy pasted it in?
Well, yeah, I copy pasted it from like the last document, like we always do.
Oh.
Stuff to cover
Maybe-
on later episodes. This
'Cause
is a
this,
later
like-
episode.
This does like feel like something I would write, but I have no recollection of writing it. Cool. Great. We're off to a great start.
Can you shepherd us through this, Chris? Because you know
Yes.
the canon the best. Thank you.
Yes. But yeah, so, we look and we like take more of like almost like an academic view of the empire and how an empire rises to power so quickly. And obviously starting with, thank you, Kristen, for next to Lit Canon wrote parentheses, who is she?
Keep going. Sorry.
Um,
Chris doesn't. In Chris's defense, he usually does not get sidetracked when I do dumb fucking shit in the document while we're recording. So I'm actually a little bit happy that I actually got him to break his like cognizant point.
It's like when everybody on SNL is just like trying to fuck with each other and trying to get each other to break so
Yes.
badly. It's like that.
Chris also just ignores me when I make an aside that is totally irrelevant and not funny to anyone but me. He just keeps plowing right through, which is why this podcast is somehow has gone 117 episodes.
I know. It's like every time I'm like, this is episode X, I'm like, that's a
That's too many
really
numbers.
startling high number. Anyway, so the Empire. And like, obviously the Empire was only around for about 23 years, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not a particularly long time. But at the same time, they did develop total control really quickly. And you look at a book like Catalyst, where it starts in the Clone Wars, and the focus is on building the Death Star, obviously. And Krennic talks a lot, and Tarkin talk in that book about how they're still pacifying areas. Now, some of that is to, like, keep the feeling of perpetual wartime, as I think we talked about when we read Catalyst, and just, like, kind of make the populace still feel like they're in danger. But also some of it is that, yeah, like, the Empire is expanding. Like, they're still, like, figuring things out. Like, they were able to get all the institutions grandfathered in from the Republic, but it's still not perfect. And then in Tarkin, we have this kind of like mid-level view of, we're definitely past that, because the Empire is, as we've seen from some of the bureaucratic meetings, as we've seen from some of the various planets where the Empire is more feared and respected, it is much more consolidated power, but it's also not like a New Hope Empire Strikes Back levels of the Empire is like 100% of your life, totalitarian, up in your face every day. And then in Solo, we see Empire more in power, still expanding. Doesn't feel quite as all-encompassing yet, and I think part of that is just the nature of Solo and the subject matter.
There is a
And-
Solo book, right? What is this
There's
called?
a novelization. Oh, do you
Okay.
mean?
I know. I mean, yeah. Though I don't mean the novelization.
Do you mean Most Wanted?
Most Wanted.
Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. Are we talking about Most Wanted here? No.
No,
We're
I was most talking about
Solo
the actual
story.
movie.
Okay, great. Then I didn't read because I wrote the lit canon. I wrote the lit canon part. So,
Nice.
sorry. Keep going. I should
Um,
just start posting the outlines so people can look at them while while they're listening, so that they can be like, "Oh, this is what these dumb fuckers are talking about."
Right.
Anyway, keep going.
Well, sometimes they're very boring because we're all lazy and just write exactly what we want to say, and sometimes they're like out there.
They're mostly boring and almost at all times difficult to follow.
Yes. But yeah, and so Solo, like, it's a little bit different, obviously, because it's not a movie about the Empire. They are not the main antagonist, but also, like, it doesn't feel like you could do a movie in the era of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, where the Empire was not the main antagonist. So, like, I feel like that itself speaks to their power in that era. And then you skip ahead to something like Rebel Rising, which is kind of midway through the Empire. And there, like, you've got young Jin, you've got, Saw Gerrera fucking shit up, and the Empire is very much in power in that book. They control shit. Obviously, they've taken Galen and killed Lyra, and they're
Back from
still
the
limited.
dead.
Yeah. There's still limited, quote-unquote, terrorist activity, as you look at the partisans, but it is just that. It's limited. It's notable when something like that happens because it doesn't happen very often.
And I think, even in Solo, where it's like, this is obviously, the Empire is not the main antagonist. Like, it's, and they do have a lot of control over the galaxy as a whole. You still see Han Solo join up, and he's, like, fighting on some, like, shitty planet somewhere, trying to do whatever the Empire's doing there, like if it was consolidating power or like putting down some kind of uprising. Like they're still out there fighting that. They're kind of the whole existence.
I'm just laughing because what's that line where Han Solo's like, "What's the fucking point of what we're doing?" And then he's like, "Spreading the Empire," whatever the fucking line is. It's better if I would have known the quote, which I famously don't know any quotes.
No, I know what you're talking about though. Like, it's like what is our objective?
Yes.
Clearing the planet of hostiles. It's their planet. We're the hostiles.
Yes. Exactly.
Which, in a totalitarian regime, always a good point to bring up.
Yes.
They're the baddies.
Thank you, Chris, for just knowing all of Star Wars. It's just all up there in your brain. Awesome. Yeah, I think that was like a really succinct way to do that. So thank you, Chris, for taking this orphan point that wasn't an orphan point because it was actually your point, but then you reimagined it and rediscovered it.
An abandoned point, a bastard point.
Yes.
Very Game of Thrones-esque point.
Yes. Cool. So we got some good questions about other bureaucratic bullshit. So friend of the pod, Drew, asks in the Patreon Slack, are you happy with the introduction of the judicials as an explanation for how the Republic actually maintained peace because the Jedi are too small of a force to really do it?
I spent most of this book very confused about who the judicials were, so I'm gonna say no.
Fair, yes. Yeah,
like,
when did they, because I know that like they were talked about a lot, and they were talking about the difference between like the ISB and the judicials and law enforcement and blah blah blah, and I was like, do we know who these bitches actually are? Chris, have we heard of the judicials before?
And it seemed like they were just talked about, like we should already know about it.
Yeah,
which is fine, but
I don't remember if they were mentioned in like the Clone Wars TV show for some reason, or for example, like I don't think they were mentioned in anything else. They're definitely not mentioned prominently anywhere. I think the point behind them is they're kind of like they're kind of like, even in peacetime you have to have some sort of military, right? Like even the New Republic had its tiny navy with Dave Filoni and Deborah Chow flying X-Wings, you know what I mean? So, like, they had people, but it just, like, was not even close to the scale you would need in a war. Like, they probably had, like, a few thousand people to go serve as advisors on planets where, like on Pygel, for example, in Master and Apprentice, where like if they had needed any additional forces to fight the, again, quote unquote terrorists there, they probably would have sent like some judicial advisors if the Jedi hadn't worked out, or rather if it had like gone to a hot war more quickly, because it was very much kind of a Cold War, but before that.
Hot war. Judicial, I'm on the Judicial Forces Wikipedia page. And we don't really know a lot of the members or what the fucking deal was. So thank you, Chris, for just continuing to know way too much about Star Wars. It really brings a lot of good to the podcast.
I mean, joking aside, having the perspective of like being a white man and being like, I feel like I know what he's talking about, like that's super real. So
yeah, fair. So I'm gonna read off the 4 members that we know of. Captain Mayoy Madakor, sure.
Yeah.
Matisse. Don't know who that is.
Him I remember. I want to say he was from Catalyst.
Sure. I'll click through. And Antidar Williams and then Tarkin.
Yeah, Antidar Williams. That is the most Star Wars name. Oh
That's
my
my
god.
grandpa.
Wait, okay, where do we know him from? Not nowhere. Why is there a photo of him? I guess he was
it
in
Legends?
something. No, it's canon.
Oh, that's
Is
so
it one of
weird.
those things where like this was a person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
in
probably
the-
like a
in the
background
judicials.
character
Yeah.
from like
It's like Great, thank
Phantom
you.
Menace or some bullshit.
Yeah, but it like doesn't tell. That's one thing I hate about Wikipedia is that it doesn't necessarily tell me where it happened. Like in the canon, it's like biographical information. He died in 32 BBY, and
So
the
that
ship
would be-
the ship that he died on, and I'm like, but what? Where?
Ooh, wait. What was the name of the ship?
The Radiant 7
Okay, that doesn't help me. But
aboard
does it
the
say-
Saka. Well,
right,
it's
I'm just gonna look this up.
SAAK apostrophe AK. I don't know how to say it.
Can you put it in the cast chat because I want to look this up because
Sure.
I'm wondering
Yes,
if it was.
I think it's a bullshit. It's not bullshit. I shouldn't say that. I think it's like a yeah. Anyway, yes, I will put it in the
32
Slack
BBY
chat.
would have been Phantom Menace, so I'm wondering
Right.
if he is like one of the people on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's ship that gets blown up.
Believe that is correct
Well,
because it said that the Radiant 7 was aboard the like space station thing in Naboo.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yes,
okay, then
yes,
that's it.
Yes. Anyway, I'll
Yeah.
still put it in the chat. God damn it, Chris! What the fuck? Why do you know that?
Because I have no other marketable skills, Kristen.
Well, I mean, I have no marketable skills, and I still don't know things. So, okay. Someone else talk so I can. Sorry, I was looking up on my phone so that I'm not
Okay,
typing real loud. It's fine. It's a
so-
whole thing.
Oh, go ahead, Miranda.
the judicials were not well fleshed out. Thank you for that question.
Big if
Drew.
true.
We all remain very confused except for Chris.
Well,
I wonder if
Okay,
we're gonna get.
to be fair, if they were well fleshed out, there would be more than 4 members on Wikipedia.
I wonder if we're gonna get more about the judicials in the upcoming High Republic
And I
publishing
mean, that'd
projects.
be like a great thing to cover, but for the purposes of Tarkin, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Sure.
It's like, this feels fake.
yeah, and I feel like that's like something that Lucino's books always kind of walk the line on, because, and this is where I make a lot of our viewers mad. So one of
Yay,
the
do it.
few,
They're
one
not
of the few
viewers.
Legends books.
They're listeners.
Yeah, whatever.
Same thing.
One of the few Legends books that I've read is Darth Plagueis, which is also by James Lucino, and I really disliked that book, which is an unpopular opinion among people who have read Legends. It is thought to be generally a good one, and to me, it just read like a long Wikipedia article,
Cool.
and I feel
Miranda,
like that's
you'd probably
something.
love it.
Yeah, honestly, like it was an interesting Wikipedia article, but it felt like a Wikipedia article.
It was an
And
interesting
so,
Wikipedia
it, like, didn't-
article.
Like it just didn't feel like there was like a through line of like a point to it. And I feel like Lucino always kind of like runs that risk because he's very old school sci-fi, and like with Star Wars you kind of can't define things too well because it's like it's not sci-fi, it's like space fantasy, and like we don't need to know how hyperspace works, we just know that it works. You know what I mean?
How dare you bring up that things are faking in space on my Book
Yeah.
Wars pod?
I know. It's a big spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Star Wars, to be sure.
Also, how did you get here? How
Yeah.
did you find us?
Episode 117, first time in.
Yeah, first time, long time.
Oh.
But yeah, so like I feel like that's something that Lucino struggles with, and I feel like the Judicials was him being like, I don't need, like, this isn't a salient point, so I'm not going to talk about it. Which, like, good instinct. I'm proud of you, but like, maybe you could have spared another sentence somewhere.
LMAO.
Yeah, like, why bring it up?
Yeah,
because the
and
whole
they have
the whole
and they
Tarkin's
have
history
fucking
chapters
and they have
were very
Palpatine
Wikipedia.
talking about it. Palpatine's like, the end of the judicials, they're coming to an end, and it's like, whom? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, they're coming to an end. We never who is she?
I know. And it's funny because usually it's a big pet peeve of mine when characters are like, the judicials, the police force that we have. Like, yes, we can assume shared knowledge between these two characters that live in this society. But in this case, you need to give us some sort of hint.
I would have
Yeah.
been fine with that parenthetical in this case.
Well, I think like so much of this book it's just us like looking at Tarkin's thoughts and reading his thoughts. Like he could have been like, oh,
Reading
yes,
the things in
you
his
know,
head.
My shut up. My time in the judicials, blah blah. One time we had a mission to do this, and just like literally any fucking context for what the hell they were doing.
I was
over
like,
there.
what is this a normal thing? Why did they yeet you guys onto this fucking planet? And you guys are all idiots except for Tarkin somehow. I mean, like, being idiots except for Tarkin is like par for the course on
Star
whatever
Wars.
the fuck we're talking
Yeah, I
about.
was going to say,
But,
can I
like,
introduce you to the Star Wars?
can I introduce you to every time anyone thinks anything is a good idea in Star Wars and only one being knows what they're doing?
A Star Wars story.
it's-
Like that's
Well, I'm right there with you. I'm like, did we have to make him part of the judicials? Couldn't it have been something else that is better established that we could have stretched to like plug the same story into, right? It's like whatever. He could have been in some other bullshit Republic thing that like it's almost worse that like allegedly we were supposed to know about the judicials and there are 4 of them and 2 of them we know from the quote unquote know from the prequels. Like it's I just wish it would have been like this other invented thing,
It felt a little bit like they were looking for a reason to make him like #known in the right circles.
Yeah.
Before the Clone Wars started, for sure.
Which is like fair. I'm like laughing at this because I'm like, it's too interconnected. Make it less interconnected
Yeah.
on my Book Wars pod. But like also, yeah, it smells of something that has been shoehorned in, and that is always off-putting in a book.
Yeah, that's very true.
Points. Cool. Another one from Drew in the Patreon Slack. Do you think the reason for Teller's rebellion is justified, or is it more of just naval intelligence meddling gone wrong?
so. I'm not sure I understand the point about naval intelligence meddling. But like I think there's a couple of things at play here. One of them is like perspective. I look at it, does anybody need justification to rebel against the Empire?
No, they're
TM.
genocidal maniacs.
They're genocidal maniacs. No, do whatever the fuck you want.
Famously.
Um,
Shout out to me earlier on Twitter calling Tarkin a genocidal maniac. I didn't just pull that out of my ass. I mean, I did, but it was just earlier.
but like, I mean, he certainly thinks he has justification. If like we're gonna be just like third parties with nothing in this game, like, yeah, he like to him it's a reason. Like, look, the Empire fucking killed all these people on this moon because they're genocidal maniacs.
Blah, blah, blah. If I had my air horn, that's when I would do it.
I have access to some information that could hurt the Empire. What should I do with it? And then the Empire's like, what the fuck is this? Why is he attacking us? Like,
I want to do hood rat shit with my friends.
yes, it's justified. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
interesting. It's interesting because it's kind of like the intent versus impact thing, right? Like the impact is like rebelling against like a genocidal system, which is obviously you don't need justification for that. But I also think of like, the many times in history where there's been like one tiny failed rebellion led by some upper middle class white bro who like got insulted by someone and then decided to do a rebellion about it. And it's like the lower classes crying out, "Help us!" and me saying, "Hey man, listen, I was just mad at him. I don't care about you." And
Toxic
so like I feel like it was,
masculinity in my Star Wars.
yeah. So like I feel like justified is a not a term that I think applies here, because like it is always justified, but it also definitely feels like congratulations on picking one of the 7 million atrocities they've already committed and making it your pet project.
Yeah, it's like they're doing this everywhere, and he sees it on the moon, and it's like, this seems bad.
Well, it's like the other side of the who's the dumb fuck from last episode who was like the mole inside the Empire, but like
Rancid?
not really. Yeah. It's like the other side of the coin of Rancid. It's like, well, I didn't get what I wanted and things are bad. It's like, yeah, you're part of an imperial war machine. That's gonna happen if you buy into that. Is that not what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's very much like when CIA officials write like tell-all memoirs and like choose to harp on like one decision that they really didn't like, and everybody's like, what about the other genocides? It's kind of like that, you know? Like
Kind of, yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Yay, genocide pod.
yeah, right? We've said genocide a lot today.
Okay, well, like, guess what? As we all know, remember all of those times that the Empire did a genocide? It was the whole Star Wars.
Very true. Very true.
They were like, do we just need to do just like a light genocide to get what we need for the Death Star? Okay, cool. That sounds great.
Just a light genocide. God damn it.
An appetizer.
Fuck my life. I'm so sorry. Great. Survey says no, is what Miranda wrote in the thing.
Kristen, I just opened up the Wikipedia article that you sent me. It literally says
What?
piloted the cruiser while transporting 2 Jedi ambassadors, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, I didn't read that part because I was on mobile.
It's
so
the first part.
It's a
Okay,
single paragraph.
I didn't read that part because the photo and that first part, like the stuff, the biographical information, physical description stuff, is above that on mobile. So I was like, there should be something that's also like where it come from. There should be something in the like little under the photo
Did you-
Wikipedia.
Did you not scroll down?
No,
far
I
enough?
can't. You know I can't read while I'm trying to speak, or generally. Great.
Sorry. I finally clicked over to that tab to see if I was right in
Listen,
my
fuck.
assumption.
Yes.
And needed to bring that up.
I know. Well, I read that part after I opened it up on on the regular computer and was like, "Oh, LOL." Captain, look, shields up. That's apparently Antidar Williams and Mao Madacor's last words. Sure. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I can't read. Once again, can't read on the podcast. We take this isn't really a bit of a left turn, but we go from talking about the bureaucracies and the Empire, and we do a super zoom with the great Instagram music super zoom in on Darth Vader's face. And the question is, does anyone fucking respect him? And the answer is, besides Tarkin, I think the answer is, it depends on what you mean by respect. Are people afraid of him? Do they know he carries a laser sword? Yes, they do. Do they know how to shut the fuck up when they're around him? They sure do. Does that mean they respect him? It does not. It's very like, it's very Kylo in the hidden boss of SNL. Like they all know it's Kylo and they just know to shut the fuck up around him because he's Kylo. Anyway, Kylo has a 6-pack. Anyway, yeah. People can't respect him because they be scared.
Vader took the question, do you want to be respected or feared? And like went super hard in one direction.
Yeah, but like, do
Because
you
Anakin
want
has
to
never
be?
respected anyone, so he's like, what is
Yes.
option A?
But like, I think if you asked Vader, he would be like, yes, I want to be respected. Or he'd be like, counterpoint to my point. I'm having a conversation by myself. Counterpoint to my point, why be respected when everyone could just be fucking afraid of you? Isn't that better? I think those are like the two things, the two options that he would give to himself.
And in either place, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
he's still gonna kill them.
I think like his proximity and direct line to Palpatine, like the further we move along in the canon of like the 23 years of the Empire existing, like the more important that becomes, because Palpatine becomes even more of a fucking shut-in. And like, I think that's part of why maybe Vader goes from being like a dark masked doofus who everyone's afraid of, but also also wouldn't sit with at lunch, to like being this person, or being this being that, or I mean, he's a person, I suppose, underneath of all that, being this person that everyone's like, I don't know what to do about this, but he does talk to Palpatine, and Palpatine doesn't talk to anyone anymore, so...
Yeah, and I feel like the other aspect of this, like, not just that, like, Vader wants everybody to be afraid of him, like, looking at how Anakin interacted with people, like, he obviously was a Jedi, but, like, he also, like, knew Yularen, and, like, Yularen, like, knew that he was a reasonable military mind and, like, kind of a dick, but, like, was smart. And I feel like if you look at the Imperial brass now, you don't really have that. Like, they just see him as kind of like the Emperor's, like, attack dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when Chris says smart, I just want to put that into deep air quotes, that like
about Anakin.
About Anakin thinking that things are good sound war tactics, when he's just a dumb child. But anyway.
Mm-hmm. And
What's
the
the
thing
worst that
there
could happen?
too.
Well, we could all die.
Well, we could all fucking die, Anakin. Why do you keep saying what's the worst that could happen every time you talk about something stupid?
Who says no? But at the same time, like, you know, when people who will later, or just people in general who are like dealing with Anakin in the Clone Wars, like, they have time to develop like some kind of rapport with him, and it's like, oh, here's this Jedi, he's got some really fucking stupid ideas of how we should go into this battle. But Vader just like kind of shows up out of nowhere, and Palpatine's like, I got a puppy, and like, that's all that other people know about him.
When you
is,
get a
like,
puppy, it's really hard to stop talking about it.
like, it's this big scary thing came out of nowhere, and he's got a lightsaber, and he's gonna kill us all.
Yeah. But it's also interesting when looking at the top, too, because, like, you look at Vader, and obviously he's a very solitary figure throughout his existence, and the only person who he really has a relationship with, the only people, are Tarkin and the Emperor. And the Emperor doesn't respect him either. Like, the Emperor sees him as, like, a stupid piece of shit who he can use to get his goals. Like, that is not a relationship based on respect.
I mean, that is true of all Sith apprentice relationships.
I mean, no, absolutely right. And so that is, like, it's
It'd be
interesting looking at the
complicated.
relationship with Tarkin, because Tarkin is the only, like, potentially the only person who actually respects him. Like, has worked with him, is like, yes, you have a sound tactical mind that definitely isn't Anakin Skywalker, because you want that to be a secret for some reason.
Like, who the fuck cares anymore?
Yeah, so it's just interesting to see that, like, unique...
Woof Woof. Whose Woof Woof is that? Sorry.
Oh, I have my windows open, and there are some very loud dogs in the neighborhood.
There are. Having walked my dog in your neighborhood frequently. So loud. I feel like I know which dog that is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Great. This is great. This is all good content. # good content. Cool.
Yeah, but to Chris's point, like, the Emperor doesn't respect Vader. Tarkin kind of does. But everyone else is like, okay, so here's what we know. He's big and scary and has a lightsaber, and he loves the Force. Which,
Yeah, fucking weirdo.
what the fuck, man? It's like the guy who, like, comes onto, like, a college campus and is screaming about the end of the world. Except, and everyone's like, look at this religious nut job or whatever.
This is interesting. Let's go get drunk. What?
Except this is Vader, and his thing is about, like, killing people.
So true.
Yeah, like you look at like some of his interactions that we've seen, like in the movies, for example. Like you look at in A New Hope with Admiral Moti, like Vader's like, nobody cares about this battle station because the Force, and Moti's like, yeah, okay, bro, before he then gets choked out. And then like you look at Empire Strikes Back, where Admiral Ozzel like is really not that concerned with what Vader thinks about his battle plan for Hoth, and then he dies because Vader's like, you have failed me for the last time because you're an idiot. So like you don't get a lot of people who are on his level or close to his level in the Imperial brass and think that he is an opinion worth getting on your side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's kind of like the Luca Brasi of Star Wars for any Godfather fans. Like everybody thinks he's big and dumb, but also that he will kill you.
Like, that's not a question.
Yeah, like
he
that's just,
will kill you.
Yeah. So like it's which like I don't, obviously is he like that is a different conversation, and we've had that many times about like what his interior motivations and stuff is like. But that's kind of, I feel like, the opinion of the non-force wielding, largely human Imperial brass.
It's a great point. Thank
Honestly,
you.
I just want to watch The Godfather, so that's kind of why I worked that in there.
Hey, that's fine. Speaking of mob things, I finally started The Sopranos, so that's happening.
I've never actually seen it.
Oh, I don't know whether or not you'll like it. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm also
I think I
garbage from
would.
New Jersey,
Ironically, I've seen like 2 episodes all the way through because my parents watched it, but I was young.
naturally.
And one of the 2 episodes I've seen all the way through is the finale.
Oh no, that's not good. I mean,
Well,
also like
I mean,
it
it's funny
actually
because-
doesn't matter because it's The Sopranos, and like the stuff that happens is like it's not like it's not like seeing the finale of Breaking Bad, from what I understand.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not. And it's funny because like the finale is like very like controversial because like people are like, what happened? And like other people are like, no, this is a perfect finale and exactly what the show is about.
Yeah.
And so like it's actually a very interesting storytelling conversation to have there, which is not the purpose of this pod.
Yeah, look forward to a bonus episode on me and Chris talking about The Sopranos.
Yeah, in like 15 years when I finally watch it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We're in quarantine. Also, like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Cool. And then we're gonna do Tarkin versus Vader, and then we're gonna talk about Tarkin, and then we're gonna end the podcast. That's what it says on the outline.
True.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about Tarkin versus Vader and like how they are different as cogs in the Empire. But we did not really talk about like why they both need to exist. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's like obvious. Vader is like a scary boy with laser sword, and Tarkin is like, I will file the paperwork to kill you. So that's helpful. They are obviously doing different things, I guess, is what my dumbass is trying to say. Someone take this point from me,
Yes.
please. I tried my best, okay?
I feel like Tarkin's almost more like he'll give the order for someone to kill you, and then he'll figure out the paperwork. Like, I see him in this analogy as being like the one girl from the story, and from a certain point of view.
He's that girl. What?
He's that girl. It's like, so here's all the forms you need to fill out, and that'll make it look like this.
Oh, yeah,
And
fair.
Vader's like, can I kill now?
That was such a fucking good story from a certain point of view. I want to do like an encore presentation of that, but it's just us re-recording and talking about it again because they're so good.
Yeah, that was a really good story. Yeah, I feel like Tarkin is like he's the one who actually like thinks through killing people, as opposed
He's the
to
one
like,
who knows there are consequences to his actions, whereas Vader, he doesn't care that there are consequences to his actions.
yeah, it's like Tarkin will like be going through like all his like reasoning for why somebody needs to die, and then Vader will have killed them 20 minutes ago. Like,
And Tarkin's like, God fucking damn. I mean, like, you're right, but fuck.
Like,
Really?
I had a whole thing planned. But yeah, so it's just like, it's interesting because he's like the thoughtful one about actual governance. Because like, obviously, the Emperor doesn't care. Like, we've known that before. We really see it in this book. He does not care about governance at all. Like, the Empire is a means to power, not a means of governance for him. And Vader, obviously, the Empire is a means for murder.
Yay!
And so
Murder.
Tarkin is like weirdly enough the one with actual like governing experience, and like he was governor of Iriadu. He like was a captain and then an admiral in the Clone Wars, and then he like is managing Sentinel Base. So like he's doing all sorts of shit behind the scenes, and like he's no less ruthless than anyone else. But like he is the one who like is actually making the day-to-day decisions. Like, you know, you look at tyrannical regimes, like in real life, you know, for every like idea man like Hitler, you have like why can't I remember any of the Nazis' names now? Like a Goebbels or a Goering, or like the people who are in charge of the camps. For like every Trump, you have a Stephen Miller. Like you have the crazy people who just like want to say stuff, or
I was about to
but then
say
don't actually.
Kierkegaard, and he's just a German philosopher. I mean,
was gonna
he's just
say,
a
that's
Danish philosopher.
very-
I'm so
very
wrong.
different.
I'm so sorry, Soren Kierkegaard. I am so sorry.
Very,
That
very different.
I am on a lot of allergy medication that I'm not supposed to be drinking on. So I am so sorry to Soren Kierkegaard. Famously dead.
Yeah. Famously a listener of the pod and also dead.
Yeah. Tarkin's like the Band-Aid, like at the giant crack in the bottom of a submarine while the water is rushing through. Like,
Cracks in
he's the one
submarines, famously bad.
he is the one who's gonna hold the whole fucking thing together while everyone else is around just like fucking shit up.
Yeah, and
That
you need people.
analogy doesn't make sense.
No. I get you though. Like, and you need people like that. You need people who are going to actually care about, you know, whether it's the mission or the country or the empire or whatever the overall entity is. You need people who are going to actually believe in the mission for reasons other than just believing in the mission. Like, you know, you have people who just believe in the dark side and so want power, or who just believe in white supremacy and aren't actually that smart to come up with policies about it.
How
But then-
dare you say white supremacists aren't smart, Chris?
Oh boy.
Sorry, just
No.
white supremacists are bad, and we do not condone them on this podcast. Has that been
Classic-
clear? But
Classic
by the amount that
SJW opinion, Kristen.
that white supremacists are fucking idiots.
Yep.
Mm.
But you need the upper mid-level people to actually like take your bullshit and turn it into policy. Like you need the Steve Bannons and the Stephen Millers and the fucking, I was going to say Jared, but we all know he doesn't do shit.
He doesn't do
he
shit.
is-
Who
speaking
is
of
she?
very stupid people.
Speaking of who is she?
But like you need the people to actually implement your plans, and that's kind of what Tarkin's role is. Like he's no less ruthless, but he is the one who actually thinks through how to implement ideas, and in this case, ideas of
Yeah,
pacification.
he's the one who recognizes that an actual bureaucracy exists and that it can be used to do things.
Yeah, like he doesn't care about it in the sense that like he doesn't believe other people have better ideas than him, but he knows how to work within it.
Mm-hmm.
Good points had all around.
Hooray! So Patreon Slack question from Drew again.
Yes.
Just our segues are
Hey.
really on point today.
I was going to say, thank God for Drew and his asking us actual fucking questions on Patreon.
I know, right? Slack question: did you like having the old clone veteran who keeps on getting on and off Vader's shit list?
Yes.
I was just confused about how he survived past the first fuck up.
Same. Like,
Yeah, but he was like in Vader's inner circle at that point, so I think like Vader has more. I think actually I have a point about this as I belch into the mic. I think Vader is like much more forgiving of people in his like direct circle who have like done stuff with him and like have shown loyalty in different ways than he is with like bullshit people in the fucking Empire who are like, okay, Vader. Like, I think, like, people that he's served with, like, and we don't know whether or not he served with this person when he was Anakin. There's a good chance he probably did if it's somebody that he, like, trusted enough to bring into his Vader inner circle of stormtroopers. But it's just, like, I think he's got a lot more leniency. Like, I think he knows that everyone hates him to a certain degree, and that like these guys will go down for him, which is like why he keeps them around and doesn't kill them immediately.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's interesting because we don't. This is like a whole separate conversation that we don't really have any information on, but like it is interesting because like I agree. I think we have to assume that Crest was in the 501st during the war.
Yeah,
and so like is one of the only ties to actual Anakin that Vader has left.
and
So
he
that, I think, is an
somehow
interesting
keeps
concept.
him around. It's an interesting thing. Yep.
Indeed.
Good talk.
cool.
Cool. Last point. Does the story change how we feel about Tarkin as a character?
Yes.
Yep. I think so, because we have so much more information about his #gritty backstory.
Yeah, he's definitely more ruthless than
Yeah, I
you
did
get
not.
the feeling of from
I did not.
A New
I
Hope.
did not think he was gonna have like a, I'm gonna send you out into the forest and hopefully you come back backstory. That is not what I was anticipating. I thought it was gonna be like, you're 4 years old, you're going to the shooting range every day. I thought it was gonna be like that sort of
Yeah.
situation.
Oh, I thought it was just gonna be like some rich kid grows up to be a white supremacist situation.
Oh, all of these are good. They're good stories, Brent.
But you know, I don't think that we don't get a glimpse. I mean, obviously we get a glimpse of Tarkin being ruthless in A New Hope, and
Oh, why do you say that?
oh, you know, one time he blew up a planet.
Very true.
And- Yeah, and like in Rogue One as well, when they kill Jeddah. But like, you know, I didn't really like Tarkin. You know, like, I mean, obviously not like as a person because he's fucking terrible.
To be fair, they only destroyed Jeddah City.
Yeah, he
It was
did
just
save the
one
rest of
city.
the planet.
Oh my
so,
god.
And it was like a desert planet, so there were like a ton of people outside.
and also
weren't.
like they were poor. So,
Oh my god. But yeah, you know, in the films, he's just this evil dude. He's shitty. He's bad. We don't fucking like him. And then we get this book, and we still don't fucking like him because he's shitty and a bad dude and really smart. But like, I just feel like we get so much, obviously, so much more of his character. And the way, like, I came into this not expecting to like it at all. I was kind of dreading reading this, but now it's like, do I like Tarkin as a villain? I think I do.
He's a good villain, Brett.
it definitely adds to the Clone Wars side of him that we see. Like when we see him in the Citadel and just like super being a dick, and we see him prosecuting Ahsoka again, super being a dick. So like we see more of why he is like this, I guess, to say, which like I know like some people are like, why does everybody need to have a sad backstory? And I like appreciate that he didn't have a sad backstory. He was just raised to be a dick.
Yeah.
They were like, go become dickish in the forest. Kill all the other animals and beings and things. Great. Good luck. Why? Why is that what makes us a Tarkin? I don't like it. That seems very unnecessary. There can be other things that make us a Tarkin, like our last names and who our parents are.
There are no parents in Star Wars.
There are no moms in Star Wars. There are some parents, unfortunately.
With very, very bad relationships with their children, usually. But yeah, you know, we get, and even like the insight into just his thought processes, like as he's chasing down the, what's his name, Teller, and his, you know, merry band of folks, like seeing him track it down and like pinpoint, you know, who's in this, what they're up to, where they're about to go next, how he can lure him into this trap. Like, oh, well, he's going to do this, but he's going to know that I'm going to know this. And like that was super lit. And I was like, okay. You're still really bad. You're still a genocidal maniac. But I like you much more as a villain.
Yeah. It definitely, compelling is, I think, the right word, because it gives you background to him, and it makes you like, it gives him a little more menace, I think, when you watch A New Hope, knowing that he like.
No, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, knowing that like he's not the good cop to Vader's bad cop.
Yes.
He just like he would just as soon stab you. He's just like gonna talk you to death first.
Yeah, that's a two bad cop situation.
Yeah.
Too bad, two cop.
Classic bad cop situation.
Yes.
All right. Oh, sorry.
Good. I had a point. Where did it go? Nope, doesn't matter. Don't know what it was.
Cool.
Now I'm just writing titles.
Great. Well, thank you all for listening to episode 117 of the Book Wars Pod. Next week, we are going to be starting Alphabet Squadron by Alexander. I almost called him Alphabet Freed. Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed.
Famously renamed after their book came out.
Yeah,
Alphabet
definitely.
Freed.
Yeah, it was a bold choice, but I think it worked out for him. We're reading the start of the book through chapter 5. Please, while you're staying inside and not going out in your fucking idiot states that are opening up and not requiring people to wear masks,
Wear masks.
read
and
Alphabet
also
Squadron.
don't leave the house. Mostly.
Yeah,
Mostly
it's
just don't leave the house.
Yeah. While you're not leaving the house, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at BookWarsPod. BookWarsPod@gmail.com if you want to email us. And rate, review, and subscribe to both us and the Tashi Station Radio Mega Feed. It is the best way for people to discover the show. While people need entertainment during this time, just give them something else to hate besides the world. They can hate us. Donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon if you have the means. It helps us cover our hosting and production costs. And give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. When you do, we will give you photos on our Instagram of Porkchop, Orca, and Jasper. So it's very, very important that you give us coffee. Also, we do want to take this moment to give a shout out to Drew. Very good friend of the pod, always submits questions, unlike the rest of you slackers. Also known as Kaya's dad in Adventures Last Days. We are thinking of Kaya, and you know, we love you. We love you both.
Yes.
Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joe Butera Design. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod. For Miranda and Kristen and Kate, who will be back next week, I'm Chris, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh my God.
She's alive.
You were supposed to be asleep.
Yeah, literally sleeping the entirety up till now.